to your research or just separate from the above?
No, the service hours can be whatever you want them to be, but they have to be applied to a specific goal. For example, my service hours, I counted with my Girl Scout Gold Award, and I created a club at the school and had a day of time spent. So that was my 50 hours. It's actually 170 hours, but that was my service project that fulfilled the requirements. So you have to work towards one thing. You can't like babysit and then dog sit and then do whatever. It has to be a full cohesive project.
I work at Plaza Hospital. I'm just doing it.
And then I work with the American Cancer Society with Breathe for Life and Bark for Life. She said, get the best up here. And I am new, so not as impressive as them. I didn't meet the requirements.
That's impressive, thank you.
Ladies, did you each take AP courses?
Oh yes.
We also take AP courses.
Can you talk to us about the courses that you've taken?
So last year, I took AP, and maybe that was it. And then this year I'm taking AP Stats and AP Spanish. So all my courses that aren't IB.
Yeah. Last year I took AP US Gov, and this year I'm taking AP Computer Science A and AP Latin.
Last year I took AP Comparative. And then I also took AP Capstone AP. This year I'm taking AP Capstone DC and AP Spanish.
So you can, and I would consider us the higher level of students as being in the career program. That's what we're in, right?
Doesn't feel like it.
I definitely feel challenged, but in a good way.
Curious, you guys are both the AP and the IB, in terms of how the classes are, you feel taken as classes and what you feel learned, just what's your, if you were comparing IB and AP in terms of your own personal, what you got out of it?
So we all took an AP Social Studies last year, and this year we're all in IB Philosophy, so that's our Social Studies this year. And last year was like we do it for a couple of weeks and we'll test, and this year we haven't really tested it all. We write a lot and talk a lot, and then right now we're working on our IA, which is our internal assessment, where we just take anything philosophical and analyze it philosophically, which is really cool that that's a big part of our grade, and we're not taking an AP exam, so it's cool that we're really making what we've done out of the past, and it's not, we're just credit for a couple hours.
Do you think you would have taken a philosophy class if it wasn't part of the IB curriculum?
I'm not sure, because I could have, there were two classes I could have taken this year, and I like philosophy better. But I really like the class, and I know that in college I'd probably take a philosophy class now that I've been exposed to it.
How about you guys?
I agree with you. I think learn philosophy. I honestly, philosophy was like out of my realm before I even got back. And now that I'm doing it, I wonderful. And I've learned a lot more from grades and things, which also helped in intimate into the world and understanding other people. I think if I didn't know about it last year, but because I knew about it, because I knew.
I think with the IB classes, it takes it a level deeper, like you said, like AP is very structured, and it feels like we're working towards the text, and it's not like 2 hour, 3 hour windows of taking a test that you're like banking everything on. But IB, it's more how you can apply what you're learning and how you can apply what you will take from the course for the rest of your life. Because with IB philosophy, we're talking a lot about how to use arguments and how, in social media we always face confirmation bias with being around people that agree with us, which is a lot to accept. And those are things that I didn't really notice before taking philosophy. So it helps not only with academics
it sounds like IB would allow you to drill into the things you guys really like or might want to do further, but maybe would it be accurate to say AP might be a choice if you're looking more to test out of something in college so you don't have to take the core class and maybe concentrate on something else?
That's true too, but I know that I think if I get the high enough, I think it's a good guide on the IB language test that I can get a bunch of points at Penn State, so I'll still be able to test out of which is why I like IB more than AP.
For me, it's a little bit different because we're kind of state for school, so I don't have the same requirements as North Carolina does. But I still have the option to at least have the credits, maybe not test out the class, but have the experience.
What attracted you to this program in the first place? What made you decide to take this course?
My dad first figured it out because I was talking to Richardson. Conference, and he was like, "We should try this." I don't know. I was really scared about it at first, and then I started looking into it, reading for it, and that's what really got me into it. Because at that time, I also didn't know what I wanted to do in college. Because I knew I wanted to be in life sciences, I just didn't know I was going to do research and be a doctor. So I'd be helping condense my view and thinking, with what I like.
I did it because I just signed myself up too much. I like pushing myself, which is good and bad, but definitely IB isn't something that I regret at all.
I chose it, I mean, I was in AP before, and it was weighted the same, so I figured it's probably the same rigor. It was a tighter-knit community than AP, I mean, we're the same, less than 30 kids for 2 years, so that was really attractive to me as well.
Anything else anybody's wondering?
Two quick questions from Mr. Richardson. I'll do it on his time, not yours.
Ladies, thank
Thanks
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you can leave.
I just was studying service hours.
Since we have the same grade point average barrier to entry to get into IB for AP classes.
Sure.
So you have to have minimum grades or you have to get waivers to get into AP. Is the same thing for IB?
No, it's a little more open than that.
And the schools that, if no schools are doing both, does that mean that the schools that do IB now diploma never did AP or did AP and chose to drop? Do you know how they?
Yeah, I'm not.
When you're saying like they don't have AP or IB, are we talking like AP Capstone or AP anything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, there are schools that have both diploma courses and they don't have the capstone program.
okay, so they might have AP courses, but not the Capstone program.
And for the diploma and AP, there's an awful lot of competition between courses that I discussed. And that's probably the biggest barrier to having both of those. So there are very few.
So I was talking about, I've seen schools that are AP, IBCP, and both those three. Just the top of it, not necessarily two out of the three.
Yeah, yes, but I'm just saying AP, like, they still may have to offer some AP courses, they just not been AP Capstone program, even if they have IB. Is it common just to offer the career program and not the diploma program for IB?
No, it's not.
It's not.
We're very unique. They didn't know what to do with us initially because the entry point is typically a school that has a diploma program and they add the career program.
Yeah.
But again, our current curriculum dovetails so nicely with the career program that that's where we wanted to enter. And they started allowing that several years before we applied. But they hadn't had a lot of folks doing that. So we're unique in Pennsylvania. There's more throughout the country, but we're unique in that we first had that.
And that was just opportunistic that we had the career pass already in place. Right. We had spent a lot of time developing the STEAM aspect of our courses, and that was being developed, and then this fit right in with it. And kind of enables us to do a high level of rigor and those courses at the same time.
So where does the IB program go from here? Do you continue to develop courses? Which courses? Will you run into the problem of competing with AP resources that you might already have that you kind of talked about, or where does it go for the next 3 years?
The way I think of it is that we want to give students opportunities to explore career areas. That's the main focus, while also giving them a little bit of opportunity to experience higher level rigor from the diploma courses. So we'll add diploma courses a little bit at a time as we go, with no other goal than to give them more variety in the diploma courses. But in the career area, in the middle here, we want to try to open that up to as many potential career paths as possible, so that more students can participate and experience that piece of it as well. Does that make sense?
Is there the same perception in IB that kids who do not excel at the final exam somehow bring down the whole program the way AP seems to be viewed, that too many kids in a 1 and a 2 indicate they didn't get something out of the class? Is that the same perception of?
I haven't picked up on that so far. We had our first big year of testing last year, and we only had a couple of score under 3. Most of them were 4s and 5s and a couple 6s. 7s are hard to come by. But even the folks that scored maybe 2 on the math test did not feel that they didn't get something out.
Yeah, I still, I guess I've always sort of questioned what the perceived barriers to AP, but we have this whole other program that 3 of our students said they feel is more rigorous. It seems not to have the same barriers. So.
Yeah, and I think that, and that's valid for them. That's their view of it. And I think I look at it as a different kind of rigor because of the immersion and the choices that they have to pursue within a course their own pathways and their own kind of areas that they're interested in.
Just, just personal experience in this, because my daughter did this, and she's AP and IB, she did the RTC one, but the IB research project was so impressively deep with how much time and effort and hours these kids are putting in this stuff. It's interesting to them. And I've never seen any other class, and I've had, I have 4 kids in only figured in that all levels, but this I was shocked how much they do this level. It's surprising.
Do you have to take so many IB courses to do a research project, or could a kid that's loaded up on AP decide they wanted to do something like that?
So I teach the core class. The core is the part that has the ethical dilemma and the reflective project. I don't even know where to stand. So how it starts out, and I'm a math teacher. I'm certified with a math major, and I teach this reflective project. And so as far as guidance with how to research or what to research or where to find it or how to put it all together, I do not have that knowledge. And so when Mr. Harold talks about how deep it goes, and that's all the kids. And so what I'm doing is I'm advising the whole time. And so they will come to me and they'll say, so like Umber had asked, well, what if I do something on generic medical prescriptions? And I said, well, what about it? And it really is just me asking questions. And so just advising and asking, but why? But why this? I feel like I'm my own youngest child, just keep asking, but what about that? But why is that happening? And I really am asking just because I don't know. But just constantly asking them, and if I can talk about Maddie is talking about, she's talking about laws and bills and getting things passed by Senate, and I do not have a political part in me at all. And so just learning from them is truly just me asking them, and then they're constantly reflecting, okay, so wait, she doesn't understand that, maybe I need to go further. And so the rigor behind it really is just them researching and asking more. But everything that they've done, it's something that they learned in one of their STEAM classes that they just, it sparked a curiosity, and that curiosity just developed. And as of last February in their junior year, they had to give me 3 topics that they heard somewhere else throughout the day that just wowed them, and they just had more questions. And then those 3 topics led to 3 questions that started with the word should. And then those 3 questions went to, let's go see Mrs. Christman in the library and see what we have. And then from there, we narrowed down to 2 really cool questions that went to, well, how internationally does this affect us? And they did everything. Like, they just keep on asking themselves and reflecting. And so that's where it all stems from. But as far as learning how to do it, that's their English teachers, that's their social studies teachers, that's everybody adding to it, and the kids just keep reflecting. But I don't have any, I just asked why, because I really don't know.
And peer review, there's a good peer review.
And
component to
there's
it.
a peer review. So at the beginning, in the fall, we have these open discussion forums. And so the students take everything that they've researched for over a year, and they stand in front of a group of adults, anyone that can come to listen and just sit in, and they just start talking about everything that they've researched so far, and their own students, peers in front of them, and then adults that we all have a little bit more knowledge of something. We sit there and we say, wasn't there an article somewhere that we read about something, and oh, do you remember all the way back in 2012 when this happened? And we're able to add a little bit more, but we don't do anything with it. They take that and then they go with it.
So is that something that you'd have to take a minimum number of these courses to participate in, or not?
No,
Not really?
not at all. So to
You just
be,
sign up for the research course.
so it's called the core course. So it's not just that. What I just described is just 1/3 of it. And then the other 2 pieces are writing the proposal for the service learning, and then compiling and reflecting on that, and then the language development. So you just take that course if you choose to be in the whole program.
Okay.
But if you're choosing just to do the classes, you don't need to do that core course.
Okay.
But I think Jim's sort of asking the opposite. I'm an AP student, and I just want to do the deep reflective piece.
No.
Okay. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
no, you cannot. So if you're doing, if you want to be part of
You gotta do the,
You gotta
the
do core,
program,
the whole, you have to do the whole program.
yes, so you're
You get the
choosing
core,
to
yeah,
do the
right.
certificate program.
Okay. So I
It's
can't,
not available
I
as a
can't take
one-off.
5 APs.
it's not just a
And then
research course.
research,
Wow.
it's part of the whole
Yeah.
course.
It's
So
the
I have to be
whole core.
core and S, so I got,
It's
okay.
part of
Gotcha.
the certificate program, not a standalone course.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks.
Do we want to just move on to talk about this AP Capstone program, or do we want to see, are there any, do we want to take questions from anyone else before we move on? Okay, want to go on to the agenda? Okay. Go on then.
All right.
So this, some of you, is similar to a presentation that I gave forward in November. So I'm going to walk you through what the AP Capstone is and discuss that. So it's much like the program I just talked to you about, the IB, either a diploma program or a career program. It's a 2-year program. It has a seminar piece and it has a research piece. Those are separate courses that are offered, and typically for us it would probably be junior and senior year. And you're taking those courses while you're taking other AP courses. Students who earn 3 or higher on those 2 courses and all that goes along with them, and the 3 or higher on 4 additional AP courses. Okay, so it's 6 AP courses. Earn the AP Capstone diploma. The student earns a 3 or higher on just the research and seminar pieces, and not on other AP courses. You could get an AP seminar and research certificate. So 2 different diploma and certificate. First offered by the AP in 2014, and the first graduating class was 2016. It's a relatively new concept.
How many schools have this then? Is that new? Is there a lot
The
of
first,
experience
I
with
think
it?
last year they graduated 2,400 in the United States. So how many schools, that's the number of students. So seminar, this is going to sound a lot like what we do in the course, and it's not a coincidence. The AP looked at what the IB was doing in terms of their core research components and kind of modeled this after that. So there's a lot of things that sound and look the same. So it develops analytical research skills, perspective taking, inquiry skills. Students in that seminar will explore a number of issues culminating in some type of a group project at the end of that first year. And then there is a test. Different from other AP tests, some of their score comes from that test for their AP 1 to 5, and some of that comes from the in-class components, again, very much like the diploma program. The research follows that. You have to take the seminar to take the research, and they go deeper in an academic topic. They would plan a fairly extensive research paper. They have to present and defend that research paper at the end of the year. And much like the other course, a lot of their grade comes from that research paper and their defense of it, presentation of it. And the other piece of it comes from an exam at the end of the course. Okay, so in this case, 75% of their grade is coming from work they produce during AP research. So at Owen J. Roberts, we have 26 AP offerings for about 30 different exams. Some of the courses have more than one exam associated with them, so that's why you're up to 30-ish there. We have 529 students this year enrolled in 26 AP courses for about 930 total seats in AP courses. So a lot of numbers on this page, but the reason they're here is to get a sense for how many students we have in our school that might be eligible to think about this. Yeah. So our current seniors, if you just look at them, we have 107 seniors that have taken 4 or more AP classes in 4 years, including this year. Okay? So they could be taking 3 this year and so on previous year. 27 of those seniors are taking 4 or 5 AP classes this year. That's a heavy load. Drop that down and look at our juniors. 75 of our juniors have taken 3 or more AP classes in 3 years. The reason we're looking at those numbers is to, again, kind of see if we have, how many students do we have could possibly
Be eligible because they have to take the course.
124 juniors taking 2 or more AP classes in 3 years. So that means this year, they're taking their second AP class, or they're taking 2 in this year. And 43 juniors taking 3 or more APs this year. And I highlighted those, both the 27 on top and the 43, to show that we have some students that are just taking a lot of AP classes. And adding 2 more to that, I have to think about adding 2 more to that. And now our current sophomores, these would be rising into junior ranks. 32 have taken 2 or more classes in 2 years. Most of them are taking 2 this year. So 32 rising sophomores, if they were in the AP Capstone, would take 1 class in their junior year, 1 class in their senior year, and they'd have 4 AP classes and seminar research.
But if I'm a 20, one of the 27 seniors taking 4 or 5, would I be able to take AP Capstone, or would I have to drop one
So-
of APs to do that?
Probably. So the students that are in that upper echelon of taking 4, 5, 6 sometimes AP classes in a year, when I look at that, I would think they would not be taking seminar. They would not drop an AP class to take seminar or research.
So they're pilot the kids taking 2, like the 1 and 2 APs a year are would fit in their
Eligible
schedule,
for that.
eligible for
Eligible.
and fit into their schedule
Yeah.
without having to deduct some, take that off.
Right.
So if you targeted, let's say, that there was a path that said you're gonna start capstone your junior year, is there a prerequisite of how many AP classes they have to have done? No,
Not-
they just have to have the 4 done by the time, plus the
Correct.
2.
For
So they have to
any time
take
in their high
6.
school career, before their senior year.
6 overall, similar to like the diploma program that says 6 of those courses, some of which we don't have yet.
Yeah, so for the AP Capstone, it's any time from freshman to your senior year. It's not concurrency.
Why do you think that the students that are moving up would not take it?
think a student who's taking those high-level courses is looking at a choice between courses that are in the content area and something else and getting credit at a school and getting college. Again, it's just my opinion. It seems to me they would stick with those classes.
So what does the capstone get them? What does the capstone get a student who is in this and chooses to do that versus to do other AP course? What are the benefits?
It's the research component. It's the immersion in research that you might not get in other classes that's deep. And it's, again, very similar to what you've just heard students talk about in their research.
So if I were a sophomore that had 2 AP classes by the end of my sophomore year, right, and I was gonna plan to take capstone, those would be 2. And then I'd have to take just 2 more AP classes and score the prerequisite scores to get the capstone diploma. And if I didn't, I get the certificate.
As long as you got a 3 on the research.
Right.
So again, I put these numbers up here just to give us a sense of how many students. It's not all 500 of our AP students that are eligible for this. It's a smaller number, somewhere between 32 sophomores, maybe 75 juniors in that range.
And if I'm a student that's interested in research and I think, oh, the IB, I'm committing to IB core and the research, which is a constraint on me taking more AP classes. So either way, I'm kind of,
Right.
the constraint is if I do the research,
Right, you're taking up schedule.
I'm taking up schedule space,
Right.
and then there's no just pure like, oh, I can just do research and nothing else.
But if you're doing your AP, you can't do research option without capstone. So
Right.
you're stuck exclusively in AP.
Right.
If you want to do it.
Or you gotta go IB core.
And then you're not having time for the AP. So just like, my sense is looking at this with such a small number that may be very specific, but the 27 who have whatever very specific things for their careers, we've got 107 who might be actually very interested in this research thing, and basically block themselves out of the IB version of it. And capstone theoretically gives them the opportunity to have the same experience, similar experience.
But I would also think that when you look at these numbers, this is without a capstone kind of path, right?
Right,
So
so they
don't know
kids
what
get to
they
their
know.
senior year and say, I got choices, I'm gonna take as much as I can to get that college credit if I'm not doing anything else. But if you had a defined path that said, you're gonna need 4 AP courses plus these 2, somewhere between in your high school years, you could maybe, you might not be taking 6 classes
Right.
your senior year.
And I wonder too,
Maybe.
not to talk about our kids, having a kid that I think is taking an AP English and a IB English at this time because she doesn't want to take statistics AP, but took the other APs that blocked out of the research, likely would have taken the research path of AP along the way. So it does feel like we've got one track can do something unique. The other track, while we lament that they take too many classes, we're actually preventing them from taking some alternative to just yet another AP class and taking a more unique thing. So
How much of an overlap in the research structure is IB versus research versus AP?
The way they speak about it, so if you went onto the AP website and you read down through the seminar on research, it would read very similar to the IB core reflective project. They're hitting the same types of skills, the same type of project, same size of project.
So if I was a teacher and I had IB and AP kids, I could be, directing research. You see where I'm
I
headed?
wouldn't have them in the same class.
Well, you
Not-
jump
That's what you're getting, is that?
I was headed down, I was.
Similar
I
enough
was,
in
I was
concepts,
headed down, yeah.
but not in construction.
Well, wasn't the research of the IB core, wasn't that a 2-day-a-week thing? 2 days a week, and so.
Right, it's taught as a hybrid. It's-
Hybrid, so this research course, would this be every day? It wouldn't be a hybrid, or what?
It could be every day, or it could be a hybrid. You have to look at more detail about the content of the course, but my guess is that it would be some form of hybrid course.
So when you had said earlier, I'm sorry, about the schools not having the IB diploma program and AP, you meant AP to capstone diploma as well, not AP at all. So it's the one or the
Again,
other.
I just sampled a few schools in our area in the last presentation, so it's not data as much as.
And it's pretty new since, IB's been around